Good morning, DCR TV fans. Dave TV here. I'm Dave TV. Look at that. I've been shot. I've been shot. Oh. No, I just spilled some tea. A hot cup of tea. A cup of hot tea. A hot tea in a cup. It's a cold Saturday morning here on DCR TV land. It's like 13 degrees out there. How y'all doing, everybody? Welcome to Dave TV for this Saturday, the 2nd of February, 2013. This was my parents' wedding anniversary. Groundhog Day. So anyhow, the gentleman that lives below me here in the condo I live in, you know, my condo's on top of another condo. He moved out, and so his family's been in there renovating the place, ripping out the kitchen, doing all banging and clanging and stuff. So if you hear boom, boom, don't mind one bit. One of the things I love about the Washington Post is how well they cover themselves. And today, there's 2 stories in the Washington Post about the Washington Post. First story, Chinese suspected in attack on Post computers. You know, the Chinese pretty much attack everybody. If you're an American news organization, you know, you've been attacked by some vestige of the Chinese military. I don't know why they do that. Just kind of a nuisance, but so there. And then the other big story in the Washington Post about the Post today is the Post is mulling the sale of its iconic headquarters down there on, what are they, on 15th Street? Something like that. 63-year-old building. Yeah, so it looks like they may move, you know. So I asked around yesterday to a bunch of DCR TVers, and I said, so where would you like to see the Post move? And someone said, they should move out to Lanham, up to the CBS radio. Go to Silver Spring. It seems like everybody leaves D.C. for Silver Spring. You know, we got Discovery Channel out there, Discovery Communications. We got Radio 1's out there now. It's like everybody ends up in Silver Spring. Where's CBS going to go? Probably Silver Spring. I don't know. I think the Washington Post should come to Tyson's Corner. Why not? Isn't there big server farm there where they serve the website? You know, why not just move it all together in one place? And, you know, the new city of the future, Tyson's Corner. Somebody should move there. I think some, you know, maybe CBS should move their radio operations out there to Tyson's. You know, somebody needs to do that. What the heck? We need some good media here in Virginia. You know, all we got's Channel 7. Big news yesterday. We broke it at about in the evening. Bill Worthington has gone from WASH 97.1 Wash FM. Bill's been there for 20 years. Not a lot of details on what happened there. I'm presuming they're saying I'm presuming it's some sort of a budget cut. I doubt Bill would have left on his own accord. He's been the late afternoon, evening guy there for many years. And it's a top-rated station, so I don't know what they're thinking over there. You know, they do have a new guy who's running Clear Channel DC. That's who owns WASH these days, or it's been owned WASH for quite a while now. I hope it's not another thing to farm out. Get rid of local DJs. You know, we're seeing more and more of this, especially with these big corporations like Clear Channel, where they get rid of a local personality and then they just pipe in somebody else from somewhere else. You know, there's a trend. There's a thing. If you're in the radio biz, you know about this. But if you're not in the business, you might not. It's called voice tracking. And voice tracking is basically where a guy can be anywhere, or a girl, you know, sit down in a studio in Jacksonville or Dallas or L.A., and you sit there and you just make digital files for a show. You know, so say some guy in Los Angeles is doing a station in New Hampshire. You know, he knows at 7:02 a.m. next Tuesday, he needs to say this. Hi, this is Jack Smith on, you know, New Hampshire's best adult contemporary, you know, W whatever. It's 7:02 and here's the Pet Shop Boys, you know. And he makes that little file, and then he makes a whole bunch of files for the, fills out the whole day, and then it basically, or his whole shift, and then he does the next day and the next day and the next day, and then those files get digitally sent over to the station in New Hampshire or wherever it's being run, and they just get plugged into the program content with a big computer. And it's very easy to do, but you can have one guy, you can have one person literally doing a local, quote-unquote, show all over the country on different stations, and it's targeted to each market. And, there are folks in Washington that do that. A number of people on Hot 99.5 do that. They work here in Washington, and they do shows on little, stations all over the country, and they literally, it's targeted to that station, but they just sit there and just do all these digital little files in between the songs and the commercials. And it's a real, and I noticed over there on Big, they're doing that now. There's this guy named Big Rig, who W Big, who I don't know where he is, down in Florida, I think, where he just does the voice tracking. And when you're listening to the station as a casual listener, you have no idea that guy who's talking about local things, local news, is really somewhere else, and not even doing the show right now. He's on a digital file somewhere. But it's a really cheap way of getting radio today, and you don't need local talent. And it's kind of sad, you're losing little by little. You're losing that local connection. And if that's what's going on with Bill, Bill's leaving. He's a locally based guy, and somebody else is coming in there. And if they're going to be voice tracked, that's not a good thing. I'm not saying that's going to happen because we haven't heard yet, but as I say, we shall see. So I tip up the camo cap to good old Bill Worthington there on Wash FM. Interesting thing in the WTOP a couple days ago was Neil Augenstein driving his car down a flooded road in Loudoun County, Virginia, and comes upon a ooh, look at that! Ooh. Comes upon somebody whose minivan had been, or van had run off the road and all that stuff. And luckily, nobody was injured. The man was able to climb onto the top of the van and wait rescue. And Neil did call 911, and they did send some people out, and everything was fine. And this guy's wife called the radio station, called WTOP, and was thankful someone had to stop to help her husband, blah, blah, blah. That's good. I like that. And I'm not putting Neil down at all for that. That's great. But, everybody does something good in their lives somewhere, and we don't all get it written up we don't all get the opportunity to write it up and pat ourselves on the back doing it. But if you're a reporter, you can do that. Yeah, I mean, I did a couple years ago. I was walking down the pathway here in beautiful Reston, and an old lady had fallen and hit her head and was laying there kind of semi-dazed, and there was a couple of people standing around wondering what should we do, and I picked up my phone and called 911, and the ambulance came and took her away, and but I didn't write it up. I didn't get to write it up and pat myself on the back. I don't know, man. Journalism. I just get a little. I get a little antsy when I see journalists covering themselves. I don't know. There's something about that. I see this in a lot, like in today's Washington Post. I realize, I guess, they're stories that are valid stories that, put it on the front page, the Post covering itself. But I don't know. I don't know. I just get a little, I see so many times when the Post does a story about weather, and then they call down to Jason Samenow down there at the Washington Post, the Capital Weather Gang, for his opinion on something. I don't know. I get a little bit antsy when I see newspapers and news organizations doing stuff in-house like that. We're the news, and we're only going to talk to our own people. I don't know. I think that's, I don't know. I know stations. I'm not putting down Neil Augenstein at all. I think what he did was a good thing, but I just, the way stations promote themselves and how wonderful we are, kind of thing, is, I don't know. Be careful. That's all I gotta say. Be careful out there. And an interesting article in today's Post, Paul Farhi there, about blurring the line between news and advertising. A number of websites such as BuzzFeed are actually running articles that are really ads called Go Native. They run articles that are actually made to look like, they run advertising, paid features that are actually made to look like articles and blend into a website so that it's almost indistinguishable from non-sponsored content. That, I think, is really nasty. The other thing I don't like is when you see, like, on the Washington Post website, where they literally will sell off like a blitz element where they have, 5 or 6 ads for some company and the background all at the same time for one sponsor. And it's like this company takes over their website. And they've done it a couple of times, and I don't like that. But again, money is what matters, and if it brings in revenue, then the media organizations will do it! All right, so that's about it for Dave TV for this 2nd of February 2013. Thanks for watching. Live long and prosper.